Hello Game Boys and Game Girls, I'm the Game Boy Guru and welcome to another pickups video. And here I'll be covering a couple things I got in the mail from a buddy and some stuff that I've picked up over the last week. So first I'll start with what I got in the mail, and not exactly starting things off with a bang, but kind of a neat deal that I got here. You can follow him on Twitter. His name is Bickman2K. And he hooked me up with some blank Wii cases, just some empty Wii cases, because I've got a couple games that are the cases were rather damaged, as you're finding more common when you go to GameStop and pick up their dollar Wii games and stuff like that, or finding them pawn shops, thrift stores, etc. You're starting to see more and more cases that are broken. I would assume because the Wii was marketed more towards kids. And there were tons of kids games, and so a lot of these games that are more, I guess, family friendly, you could say, have broken cases. So he sent me a few of these, and a couple of these stand out. This one's obviously a WWE Raw game because of the sticker on there, and of course the pre-owned, rest in peace, Blockbuster. And speaking of Blockbuster, this one's kind of cool. It had a pre-order deal for Tron Evolution, which I have for the PSP. I don't have the Wii version yet, but now I think I want to get it because then I can include this and just have it as an extra with the game and just sort of keep that. So that's kind of a neat little aside. The other thing that Bickman2K hooked me up with is a PSP title I didn't have, and one that I've been wanting for a while. Partially because I'm looking for a complete set, partially because it's a Capcom game, and partially because I don't know why I'm a complete masochist. I feel like I have to play it, even though it's nails hard. But it's Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins. Apparently this is a very good game, and I've enjoyed to a point of the other games in the Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts series. Of course, the NES game is just absolutely brutal. But I guess later games in the series, they improve some of the control and have more options, and so it's they're, I don't want to say easier, but more manageable. So anyway, glad to have that. It's one game closer to a complete PSP set. Now let's go over some stuff that I picked up last weekend at pawn shops and thrift stores. And here's one that I got from one of the Goodwill locations I go to, and that is Jeopardy! 2nd edition for the PlayStation. Kind of cool. It actually has Alex Trebek in there, and one of the features, it's got a little thing that says features here, and one of the interesting features is it says unlock bonus interviews with host Alex Trebek. So that might be kind of fun. I've always enjoyed Jeopardy, even though I usually feel kind of stupid when I watch the show because a lot of the historical facts and things, I have no clue. And I picked up a couple of GameCube games, which is always exciting. GameCube games are generally more expensive these days than PlayStation 2 or Xbox, and so anytime I can pick them up cheap at the thrift store or the pawn shop, I jump at it. So I got Wave Race Blue Storm, and looking forward to that because Wave Race on the 64 was pretty good, and so I'm hoping that this will be equally as good. And then I also got Spider-Man 2. It's not in great shape. Don't know if it'll pick it up on the camera here, but there you go. You can kind of see that the front artwork is kind of wrinkled. I think it probably got wet at some point, and so it got wrinkled real bad. But other than this stupid sticker on the manual, the disc is in okay shape. It'll probably play. It'll probably be fine. We'll see. A couple of PlayStation 2 games. Got 007 Quantum of Solace, and I didn't have that one yet, and actually this is looks like a relatively decent likeness of the actor who plays Bond. And now his name is escaping me right at the moment. Well, anyway, could be fun. And then Pirates, Legend of the Black Buccaneer. And I don't believe this has any relation to the Sid Meier Pirates series. Pretty sure this is just kind of a game that was developed and came out to sort of capitalize on the whole Pirates of the Caribbean franchise hubbub at that time. Because, of course, there was a Pirates of the Caribbean game that came out, at least one that came out on the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube, if memory serves, for at least the first movie, if not the second. So, yeah, probably just to capitalize on the popularity of it, but looks like a third-person action-adventure type game, and that's right up my alley, so why not? I picked up one original Xbox game, and that is Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. And when I looked this up, it looks like Battlefield 2 came out on both the original Xbox and the Xbox 360. So it might have been right around that time that the two consoles were kind of overlapping or what have you. So 2005, yeah, so it must have come out for the original Xbox, and then when the 360 came out, they must have just put out an updated sort of HD version. Because if you look at the back of this one, it does not say HD TV 480p. So for whatever reason, they did not make this HD with the original game, but it got the HD treatment in some fashion when it came out for the 360. So haven't really played any of the Battlefield games, but I'm kind of starting to get into, you know, military shooters and that sort of thing. So could be fun. Picked up some 360 games as well. I got Splinter Cell Double Agent, and I don't know a lot about this one. I do believe that, if memory serves, that Michael Ironside is still voicing Sam Fisher at this point. I was thinking that at some point during the series maybe they dropped him for someone else, but I can't say that for sure. In any event, this is like the fourth or fifth Splinter Cell game that I've picked up. I put a little bit of time into the first one. I didn't really get past the training missions yet. I kind of just toyed with it for a little bit before I used the copy that I have to soft mod my Xbox. But I would like to go back to these because I enjoy this sort of espionage, you know, sort of theme or what have you. And so I'm a little bit more of an action guy than a stealth guy, so I generally prefer stuff like Siphon Filter to Metal Gear Solid. But then I've only played the first Metal Gear Solid game, and so far I've enjoyed that. So we'll see what I find with these. But I'll probably start at the beginning of the series and kind of go through chronologically according to release. I also picked up a random game called Legendary, and looks like it's kind of interesting. It looks like it's a first-person shooter according to the deal at the very top there, with your gun and this giant condor or bird or whatever it is, bird-like creature, griffin maybe. But it looks like it's yeah, the end of mythology is what it says at the top there. So looks like it's probably you and your trusty machine gun or other arsenal taking out giant mythological creatures like the griffin or this large other large creature here. I can't remember the name. It's from Greek mythology. Minotaur. That's right. I got Rainbow Six Vegas 2, and the interesting thing about this is it's one of those double disc ones, and it comes with a bonus disc, which is a sneak peek or demo or what have you for End War. And the interesting thing about that is, of course, I already got End War recently, a few weeks ago, and I posted that on one of my other collection videos. So funny that I got Rainbow Six Vegas 2 later with the sneak peek of End War after I already acquired End War. But still neat to have that with the demo disc. They're still intact and actually in okay shape. The demo is kind of looking a little rough. But the actual game itself is in pretty good shape other than some fingerprints, which easily wipe away. Now let's get on to the meat and potatoes of what I got yesterday. Yesterday was a bit of an exciting day. And this is all from one store, one thrift store. And so I feel like I scored big yesterday at this thrift store. So I picked up some 360 games. I got Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 and Classic Game Room. Mark says that this is pretty good stuff, so looking forward to that. I picked up a couple of RPGs. One is Eternal Sonata, and I've heard mixed things about this game. Some people have said that it's kind of boring. Other people seem to enjoy it. We'll see what it's like. And then there was some discussion among some of my cohorts over at rfgeneration.com on this game yesterday, I guess because the Xbox One backwards compatibility list has been updated, and this game is among those that got added, and that is Lost Odyssey. So apparently you can play this on the Xbox One now. I don't have an Xbox One, but my 360 is right here behind me on this TV in the bedroom, and I've been playing that recently. So yeah, I'll check that out. It's apparently a very good game and quite possibly the best early RPG release for the system. I picked up some PS2 stuff. First, I got Star Wars The Clone Wars, Republic Heroes. Don't have any of the Clone Wars stuff yet, but I'm always up for a Star Wars game. I haven't really watched the Clone Wars series much. I always felt like it was a little bit, I don't know, too kid-focused, being a cartoon. But the game could be fun, so why not? And I also stumbled across a number of PS2 demo discs, so that's kind of cool. Speaking of Battlefield 2, Modern Combat, PS2 demo disc. And all of these are in pretty good shape. You know, the cases are just a little bit worn or banged up. You know, usual corners are a little rough or whatever, but otherwise the discs are in good shape and everything looks good. So Battlefield 2, I got this one, which is 3 games, From Russia with Love, 007, Need for Speed Most Wanted, and SSX on Tour, all 3 of which I believe I have, but still kind of fun to have the demo disc because, you know, there are fewer of these probably floating around than the actual games themselves. Total Overdose, A Gunslinger's Tale in Mexico, and I think I've vaguely heard of this game, but looking at the screenshots on the back and thinking that it looks similar to Chili Con Carne on the PSP, this looks like a game actually that I would like to play because the premise looks interesting, so that might be cool. And this is probably the one that I'm most excited about, and that is Shadow of the Colossus. I recently got a Greatest Hits Shadow of the Colossus within the last few months, and with all the hubbub around the game and everybody saying that it's so fantastic, kind of cool to find this demo disc. So that was a neat find yesterday, and one that I will definitely have to check out and maybe pop in the demo disc and play with it just a little bit before I actually go and play the game. You know, to see what the demo entails. And now on to the biggest finds of the day, in my opinion. The demo discs were cool, but I think this stuff, or some of the later stuff in this batch, outweighs that. So first, let's get this out of the way. This is Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't think these games reviewed well, but they were on everything. PS2, Xbox, Wii, PSP. There was an Avatar game for almost everything. And I don't know, it still might be fun. It's third person. It looks like it's cel-shaded graphics, so it's probably going to look a little bit better than your typical low-budget game from that era. One thing that I find neat is whenever there's stuff in the games that someone includes or left in there, and so these papers are cheat codes that are written down. And so it's always cool to see stuff like that included in a game, a little bit of the history of whoever it was that owned it before. And so that kind of stuff is fun to me. I like to see that, original purchase receipts or cheat codes, maps, anything like that is always fun to kind of see the history. It also comes with this little Nickelodeon games guide. So whoever owned this didn't throw it away, which was pretty cool. So glad to see that as well. So that was kind of neat. Not the biggest find of the day, but more just fun because of what it is. Call of Duty 3. I'm kind of starting to collect these. Like I said, I'm starting to get into military shooters a little bit. It's funny, this one says it's in HD, but it doesn't look like there's any actual gameplay screenshots on the back, just cutscenes and stuff. So kind of interesting, but glad to finally be kind of reaching back toward the beginning of the series, since I've picked up a couple of the later games like Modern Warfare and the first Black Ops game. I got Sonic Riders for the Xbox, and I don't know much about this one. It looks like it's just a racing game with Sonic characters. But yeah, Sonic Riders. This was a great find for me, and one that it's a game I've been looking for a long time, but I've kind of been putting off buying because I didn't want to pay the price that everybody's still asking, because it's a Nintendo first-party title for the Wii, and first-party Wii and GameCube stuff generally still holds its value pretty well. And this game is hard to find for less than $20 or $30, and that is New Super Mario Bros. Wii. And very glad to have this. I really enjoyed New Super Mario Bros. U, which came with my Wii U, and glad to have this. My nephews have this, and they really love it. And having seen some of the power-ups that they incorporated into Super Mario Maker, like the hat, the little sort of mushroom beanie hat with the little propeller that you can use to sort of fly. That would be fun to mess around with that. One of the things I love about this is when the stuff is totally complete. So it's got the Club Nintendo deal first. It has this advertisement talking about other games, Wii Fit Plus and some of the other stuff. So that's always cool when parents or people who own these things don't throw that stuff away. And then the manual, which is incredibly thick and huge, presumably because it's English, Spanish, and French. So it's literally the entire manual in 3 languages throughout the thing. And anyway, it's kind of neat. It's full color. I love all the explanation. It's quite the manual for a simple game like New Super Mario Bros. Wii. But I miss this. The current generation of stuff, PS4, Xbox One, and even Wii U, have started to shed physical manuals in favor of digital manuals that you can go and get on the website. And sure, that's nice, but having this really completes the package. And that's one of the reasons why I'm a collector, and why for stuff like this, games in hard cases like this, I love getting manuals. Even for NES games, Game Boy games, Super NES games, anytime I can find the physical manual, I love having that, even if I don't have a case to put it in, because it's just part of the product, it's part of the history, and it shows, depending on the quality of the manual, the kind of care that was put into the product to make it a good quality product. Not that today's games aren't quality products, some of them very much are, but it speaks to, I don't know, a bygone era, I guess, where these kinds of things are now few and far between, where in the past they were commonplace like this. So very excited to have this, and very glad to finally have that. And the next two games, this one I already have on PS2, but I guess the Xbox version is superior, as is the case with almost everything that was cross-platform at that time, and that is Star Wars Battlefront, which is reasonably common, but a game that I'm excited to play because it's Star Wars, and I love Star Wars, and the Battlefront games are apparently very, very good. And with that, I picked up Star Wars Battlefront 2. Yeah, so very glad to have this. This game is going for loads of money. It's still selling for basically original retail, used everywhere I've seen it. People are asking $50, $60 for it, sometimes more. So I picked this up, as you can see, for $3. I'll have to spend a couple of bucks to get the disc resurfaced because it is reasonably scratched. It looks like it'll probably still read, but it is scratched up, so I am going to need to get it resurfaced. But complete with the manual, even though it's a little dinged up along the edge, but very excited to have Battlefront 2, what is probably the definitive console version, on the Xbox, and for a song compared to what everyone is charging for it these days. That's all I have for today. I know I've got some more stuff coming in the mail in the next week or so, and when I get that and maybe do a little bit more hunting, I'll post again. So in the meantime, thanks for watching, thanks for playing, and game on.